Welcome back to another Blue Jackets game reaction. Last night was game 34 for Columbus, and they lost in overtime 3-2 to the Washington Capitals at home in Nationwide Arena. They were wearing their alternate cannon jerseys as well. So we're going to get right into, I guess, the elephant in the room, or the main topic of discussion. During the overtime period, Elvis Merzlikins, after making a breakaway save, he saw Tom Wilson in the net and decided to just give him the business, pushing him further into the net before he could leave, and just started throwing punches at Wilson with his blocker. After that incident, Columbus was going to have a 3-on-2. Instead, they were handed a 4-on-3 penalty kill. Definitely would have been a minor miracle if the Caps didn't score with all the chances they were getting pretty much over and over and over again throughout most of that rest of the overtime period on the power play, and they would eventually score. Of course, it was Alex Ovechkin ending his goalless drought against Columbus. That's how this season has gone in some way, shape, or form so far. But Elvis, in post-game, he goes up and explains that he felt that Wilson had been building up some bad karma throughout the game, mentioned a slew foot that he thought was perpetrated against him early in the first period. He also thought that Tom Wilson went after his knee on that breakaway attempt in overtime. Pretty much said sorry, not sorry about his actions. It seems like if he had the choice to do that all over again, he would make that choice pretty much every day of the week. And that's how he feels. Pascal Vincent had a very different sentiment post-game, however, saying that Elvis can't lose his cool like that in that scenario, and that the penalty is what cost them the game in the end for Columbus, as again, the Blue Jackets were getting on a 3-on-2 rush. In overtime, they were carrying the puck up the ice with numbers and with the advantage. And in a vacuum, I do lean towards siding with Pascal Vincent's mind of thinking on this. You know, Tom Wilson is an agitator. He does things to get under your skin. Something Vincent said is that Tom Wilson wants to egg people on and get penalties like this. He does walk to the line and cross it regularly, often as it comes to playing within the rules, both by the rule book and by the unwritten rules in the game of hockey. Tom Wilson definitely wants to draw those emotional penalties out of guys, and he seemed to do that against Elvis Merzlikins in overtime. You know, we can talk about, sure, there have been minor penalties both ways. I don't know, don't leave it up to the refs to decide, because the refs absolutely suck. Every team agrees that they're bad. Don't leave it up to the refs to decide whether or not they should have coincidental minors. But however, I feel like Pascal Vincent, what he said is something that needs to be said behind closed doors in a more private setting. You know, in public and in the media, I don't think there's really much good outcomes that is going to come out of pinning the loss on just one guy or one incident. I mean, the game was decided in overtime, so maybe the rest of the skaters should have gone out there and scored another goal before the end of regulation. You could say that there were some opportunities that were missed by the skaters out there. I mean, if a player spoke to the media and said that a specific coaching decision from Pascal Vincent late in the game cost them 2 points, I think that would have resulted in a media firestorm, and rightfully so. I feel like Pascal Vincent probably could have given some kind of bland, like no comment or have to watch the replay type of answer. And if he wants more control out of Elvis Merzlikins in that situation, that's a conversation I think Pascal Vincent needs to have with Elvis Merzlikins and not necessarily with members of the media. And I think that it is a little bit too bad that this is distracting from what was a really good effort from the Blue Jackets yesterday, where despite Lindgren playing like a Vezina candidate for the Washington Capitals, the Jackets did find ways to get a couple of goals past him. He had Sillinger scoring his third goal. Hopefully, I say this after every Cole Sillinger goal, hopefully that does find a way to spark his momentum and get more positive results. Although I do think Cole Sillinger has been playing a lot better lately. It's just an issue of getting that pure production going. I think his line with Kent Johnson and Emil Bemstrom has been playing really well the past few games. You have Chinakhov extending his point streak with his tremendous shot to tie it late in the third. Also a great effort by Voronkov to get Chinakhov the puck, and that Russian line has just been absolutely going crazy. In their time together, they've been great on the ice. And Elvis, for his part, he also played pretty darn well for the entirety of the game, just losing his cool in the final minutes there. In Columbus, they got themselves a hard-earned point, but that 1 point, just like the Elvis Merzlikins scrum, kind of feels like a bit of a consolation prize, something that a bit of a safety net to fall on after not being able to finish the game, where, you know, the core reason I watch this team and I watch the Blue Jackets in general is because I want to see them win. And, you know, I know as a fan that this season pretty much is a lost season, but I'm not in tank mode. I'm not in lottery watching mode quite yet. So I'm still in, you know, give me results mode right now as a fan. So again, it was really cool in the moment to see Elvis Merzlikins throwing hands with Tom Wilson. That was fun. You know, it's like, yeah, get him in the net and all of that. But I think I would trade that interaction for an overtime win every day like all day, every day in a heartbeat. I'd rather have the 2 points. I mean, you can ask the Capitals players and their fans how they feel about it. Yeah, they don't care that Tom Wilson took a couple of blocker shots from Elvis Merzlikins. They got the overtime victory. Ovechkin scored another goal. They're feeling good. Again, I don't necessarily have an issue with what was said in the content of Pascal Vincent's message post-game. I don't think the Jackets should be able to get egged on into some kind of bad penalty that puts them in a bad position by other teams. But I do think you can give Elvis some accountability within the team without standing in front of the media and saying that he cost the Jackets the game outright. I feel like that should be kept in the locker room. And certainly Pascal Vincent saying that publicly did give me something to talk about. It gave me enough to ramble on for however long I've been rambling on for about this incident and about what this does. But I am also a little concerned that it gave the players something to talk about too, as far as is the coach going to have our backs when we feel like we have to stick up for ourselves. And again, if Pascal Vincent doesn't want Elvis to have that kind of emotional outburst, I think that's fine, but I feel like that's a conversation that needs to happen with the player or maybe with the team behind closed doors, and not something that can be picked up for a soundbite or a quote for beat writers and in the media in general. But that's how I feel about it. You can let me know how you feel down in the comments section below. I certainly wouldn't mind seeing, I certainly didn't mind seeing Tom Wilson get a few punches thrown his way in the moment, but again, after it was all said and done and the penalty was handed out, I was kind of thinking, maybe Elvis could have just let him skate out of the net and we would have had a 3-on-2. But again, Tom Wilson got hit. It is a bit of a lost season, so I'm not super bent out of shape about it, but I do feel like the post-game comments from both Elvis and Pascal Vincent could have lead to a bit of a rift in the locker room for at least a little bit. But again, you can let me know if you feel differently down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. If you didn't make it this far into it, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more like it. I cover some more teams in Ohio. Maybe you like those videos as well. But once again, thank you for watching, and I will see you at the next one.